Lionel Andres Messi Cuccittini was born on June 24, 1987, at 11:45 in the morning, in the city of Rosario, Argentina, which is located about 300 kilometers northwest of Buenos Aires. He was the third of four children born to Jorge Messi, who worked as a manager at a steel factory, and Celia Cuccittini, who worked in manufacturing. The Messi family was working class, and they lived in a modest house in the neighborhood of La Bajada, where money was always tight but love was abundant. From the very beginning, Messi's grandmother, Celia Oliveira Cuccittini, was his biggest supporter, and she would take him to football matches and encourage him to pursue his dreams. Messi began playing football at the age of 5, and it was immediately clear that he was special. He joined a local club called Grandoli, where his father had arranged for him to play. His first coach, Salvador Aparicio, was astonished by what he saw. The story of how Messi got into that team is one of the most emotional and defining moments of his childhood. According to Messi himself, he was too young to be on any team, but his grandmother was relentless. She approached the club manager and insisted, let him play, even when the manager replied, how can we let him play? He is too small, he cannot play. Messi has recalled that his grandmother was very much loved by everyone at the club, and she continued to demand he be put in until they finally gave in. She then told the coach, buy him football shoes and next week I will bring him here for training, and that is where it all started. In his first game, just 4 years old and tiny compared to everyone else, he scored 2 goals. The coach was stunned, exclaiming, they cannot touch him. He is like a flea you cannot get rid of. That nickname, the flea, would follow him his entire career. Messi later said he barely remembers the game because he was so young, but that is the story his grandmother used to tell him. Messi's childhood was filled with football. He would play with his older brothers and cousins constantly. He later recalled, I have older brothers and cousins, and we always got together to play. I don't exactly remember the first time I played with a ball, but I know I've been playing since I was very little. His grandmother continued to be his biggest supporter, taking him to every match and cheering louder than anyone else. Tragically, Celia died in 1998 when the prodigy was just 11 years old. Messi was devastated. He had lost his biggest cheerleader. To this day, he dedicates every goal he scores to his grandmother, pointing to the heavens in his now iconic celebration. He once said, I didn't hear the cheers, I only heard my grandmother calling my name, after scoring a goal where she was in the stands. He made a promise to himself that he would point to the sky for her every time he scored. That promise is still kept today. Despite his dazzling performances at Newell's Old Boys, where he scored nearly 500 goals over 6 seasons, Messi's early career was famously complicated when he was diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency. By the age of 9, he was only around 4 feet 2 inches tall, which was significantly shorter than other children his age. Doctors diagnosed him with growth hormone deficiency, a condition where the pituitary gland fails to produce enough growth hormone. Without treatment, Messi would likely remain very short and might not be able to pursue his dream of becoming a professional footballer. The treatment required daily injections of synthetic growth hormone, which were extremely expensive and cost around $1,000 to $1,300 per month. Messi was so young that he had to learn to inject his own legs every single day. According to his doctor, Diego Schwartzstein, Messi's main concern was not his appearance or his height, but whether he would be able to continue playing football. He kept asking whether he would grow enough to continue playing the sport he loved. Messi's family could not afford the treatment. His father, Jorge, had health insurance through his job at the steel factory, but it did not cover the full cost, and the Argentine economic crisis in the early 2000s made things even worse. Messi later recalled, it was a very expensive treatment. The company where my dad worked covered part of it, but even with that it wasn't enough because it cost a lot. I remember going to do tests, running a block in the street, coming back, more tests. And from there I began the treatment. Newell's Old Boys were willing to help and promised Messi's mother they would cover the remaining cost. However, they never followed up and kept giving her excuses. Messi's mother had to cross Rosario multiple times to collect small amounts of money, and many times she was given only 5 pesos or 10 pesos, or told that the person who was supposed to give the money was not there. Messi later said, that's why my mom was so angry with certain people at Newell's. In the end, it wasn't the club as an institution, it was a specific person who was there at that time. Messi was careful to clarify that his frustration was never directed at the club as a whole, but rather at the individual responsible for managing the process at the time. His father reached out to several football clubs in Argentina, hoping that one of them would agree to pay for his son's treatment. He sent letters and videos of Messi's incredible performances to clubs like River Plate, but none of them were willing to take on the financial burden. Messi even had a trial with River Plate, received sporting approval, and was offered support for his medical treatment. However, the move ultimately collapsed due to difficulties in securing his release from Newell's. That setback closed the door on River Plate and soon opened another, this time with Barcelona. The Catalan club decided to fully commit to Messi, taking responsibility for his treatment and offering him the chance to develop at La Masia. The family was losing hope, but then an opportunity came from an unexpected place. In 2000, when Messi was 13 years old, he was offered a trial with FC Barcelona's youth academy, La Masia, in Spain. A scout named Carles Rexach had seen videos of Messi and was convinced that he was a once-in-a-generation talent. Rexach arranged for Messi and his father to travel to Barcelona for a trial. The trial was a success, but Barcelona's directors were hesitant to sign a player with such an expensive medical condition. They were worried about the cost and the risk. But Rexach was so determined that he made a decision that would change history. He pulled out a napkin, wrote a contract on it, and signed it in front of Messi's father. That napkin contract is now a piece of football history, displayed in a museum in Barcelona. However, this decision to stay in Barcelona came at an incredible emotional cost. Messi's whole family originally moved to Spain with him. But after 6 months, his mother and siblings struggled to settle in the new country and eventually returned to Argentina. This meant that 13-year-old Messi was left in Barcelona with just his father. He was a shy, introverted boy in a new country where he did not speak the language, and now he was separated from his mother and siblings. Messi later revealed that he would regularly cry at home after realizing the consequences of his decision to remain in Spain. He felt the weight of the responsibility on his shoulders, knowing that he had to deliver on his talent because his family had sacrificed so much for him. He later told an interviewer at age 13 that Barcelona was the biggest club in the world, it's very special, and he wanted to stay here forever. When he first arrived at Barcelona's famed La Masia Academy, Cesc Fabregas, who was there at the time, was shocked. He was a very small kid and he didn't speak, Fabregas recalled. The first training session I had with Leo I was playing a bit more as a defensive midfielder and we were doing this 1-versus-1 exercise and I thought I would get the ball easily from him. But I saw him coming at a speed that was not normal and I was shocked because I fell on the floor and he scored a goal. So from that moment I knew I needed to take that boy very, very seriously. The treatment for his growth hormone deficiency continued, and he grew stronger and taller. But despite his talent, Messi remained incredibly shy. Pablo Zabaleta, then a fullback for Espanyol, Barcelona's rival, became an unlikely mentor for Messi. Zabaleta explained how he aimed to look after his fellow countrymen and even used to chauffeur him around. He had some friends but he was shy and I felt like I needed to look after him and make sure he was good and surrounded by nice people, Zabaleta said. In football, when you become a star everyone wants to be your friend. I used to take him to restaurants and his father said, please take care of him. It was like having €80 million next to me but the main thing was to drop Messi off at his house safe. He faced no such troubles on the pitch, as he continued to catch the eye before signing a professional contract at 16 and then broke into the Barcelona team at 17 under Frank Rijkaard, something that was unprecedented for the club at the time. He was eased into the first team and was taken under the wing of senior players like Ronaldinho and Deco. Xavi Hernandez, now the Barcelona coach, said, "We adopted him in the dressing room. We said we have to take things step by step. But also the big stars like Ronaldinho, they could see this kid could make them better." What followed was pure dominance. Over the next 17 years, Messi became the cornerstone of one of the greatest teams in football history. Under coaches like Frank Rijkaard and Pep Guardiola, Barcelona dominated world football. Messi scored an incredible 672 goals for Barcelona, breaking every goal-scoring record in the club's history. He is the all-time leading scorer in La Liga, with an incredible 474 goals to his name. He also holds the record for the most goals in a calendar year, with 91 goals in 2012, a Guinness World Record. He won the Ballon d'Or 8 times, more than any other player in history. He helped Barcelona win 10 La Liga titles, 4 Champions League crowns, and 7 Copa del Rey trophies, making him the most decorated player in the club's history. But despite all this success at club level, Messi's international career was filled with heartbreak. He was constantly compared to Diego Maradona, the legendary Argentine player who had led the country to World Cup glory in 1986. Gary Lineker, a well-known Messi fan, explained in a documentary, "In terms of football they are so similar. But off the pitch, they're massively different. Diego is a huge personality with a massive ego and his life was madness, but Messi is quiet and much calmer off the field." Many Argentinians felt that Messi was not like them. He had left Argentina as a child and had become Europeanized. He was seen as too quiet, too private, and not passionate enough for the blue and white jersey. Messi led the team to the 2014 World Cup final, but they lost 1-0 to Germany after extra time. He was devastated, and he cried on the pitch after the match. Despite being named the player of the tournament, Argentinian fans began to turn on him. Angry supporters were shown in a documentary saying, "He is a loser, he is lazy, he is a lie, he walks around, you can't compare him to Maradona." In 2015 and 2016, Argentina lost back-to-back Copa America finals to Chile. In the 2016 final, Messi missed a penalty in the shootout, and Argentina lost. The disappointment was too much to bear, and Messi announced his retirement from international football. He said, "It's not meant for me," and he walked away, feeling that he had failed his country. Argentina legend Mario Kempes understood his decision, saying, "When Messi resigned I said it was fine. If he lost, it was his fault. Why are you going to ruin your life by coming to Argentina?" But the public then realized how much he cared. Thousands of fans marched in the streets begging him to return. Children wrote letters to him, telling him that they were his hero. The president of Argentina personally called Messi and urged him to reconsider. Messi was deeply moved by the outpouring of support, and he decided to return. Kempes later noted that one day the tables turned, he found a new coach, a new team, and there he began to enjoy himself. In 2021, Messi finally broke his international trophy drought by leading Argentina to victory in the Copa America. Facing arch-rivals Brazil in the final at the iconic Maracanã, a superb piece of skill from Angel Di Maria secured the victory. However, the abiding image is the spine-tingling sense of redemption as all of Argentina's players ran straight to Messi at full-time. They lifted him up on their shoulders and threw him in the air to celebrate the recognition their superstar finally received after so much heartache. Argentina and Aston Villa goalkeeper Emi Martinez, who was in tears, said, "I hugged him so hard and I said we did it and I was crying. And I grabbed him like my child. I love the guy." But the ultimate prize, the one that had eluded him his entire career, was still waiting. The 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar was Messi's last chance. Argentina started the tournament with a shocking 2-1 defeat to Saudi Arabia, and the entire country went into panic. But Messi rallied his teammates and told them to keep believing. Argentina won their next 5 matches, and they reached the final against France. The final was one of the most dramatic matches in football history. Messi gave his team a 2-0 lead with a penalty and a brilliant assist. But France, led by Kylian Mbappé, fought back with 2 goals in 2 minutes, sending the match to extra time. In extra time, Messi scored again, putting Argentina ahead 3-2, but Mbappé scored his 3rd goal, completing a hat-trick, and the match went to penalties. In the penalty shootout, all eyes were on Messi. He had missed a crucial penalty in the 2016 Copa America final, but this time, he was ice cold. He stepped up, waited for the goalkeeper to move, and calmly slotted the ball into the back of the net. His Argentine teammates followed his lead, and when Gonzalo Montiel scored the winning penalty, Messi collapsed to his knees on the pitch, tears streaming down his face. He had finally done it. He had won the World Cup. The little boy from Rosario had finally reached the pinnacle. Messi was an emotional wreck after the final whistle, displaying tears of joy and jubilation as he lifted the trophy along with his teammates. He couldn't wait even 5 minutes to get his hands on the trophy, sneaking a kiss of the World Cup trophy while walking up to receive his Golden Ball award as the best player in the tournament. He later said, "Look at this cup, it's beautiful. We suffered a lot but we made it." On Instagram, he posted an emotional message, "Champions of the world. I dreamed it so many times, I wanted it so much that I still haven't fallen, I can't believe it. Thank you very much to my family, to all who support me and also to all who believed in us. We demonstrate once again that Argentines, when we fight together and united, we are capable of achieving what we set out to do." After leaving Barcelona in 2021, Messi had a 2-year stint with Paris Saint-Germain. While there, he mustered moments of brilliance and found himself on the brink of yet more landmark achievements without ever quite getting over the line. In July 2023, Messi joined Inter Miami in Major League Soccer. His arrival was widely viewed as a cultural watershed, underscoring football's growing prominence in a country whose sports scene has long been dominated by basketball, baseball, and American football. Argentina legend Mario Kempes noted, "Messi's influence shows in the growing number of academies. The biggest improvement has come at youth level, where kids can now look up to the best player in the world here and relate to him." Inter Miami coach Javier Mascherano added, "Messi has made a massive mark, just as he always does. Our club and league are known all over the world, and that's in no small part down to Leo." Messi wasted no time in becoming the top scorer in Inter Miami's history and in delivering the club's first pieces of silverware, the MLS Supporters' Shield and the League's Cup. In 2025, Messi had a stunning year, scoring 46 goals and providing 28 assists in 54 matches, winning the MLS Golden Boot and his second consecutive MLS Most Valuable Player award. He won more than 70% of the vote for the MVP award, while his nearest challenger had just over 11%. He also became the first player in MLS history to record 10 multi-goal games in a single campaign, breaking the previous record of 8. On December 6, 2025, under the bright Florida lights, Inter Miami defeated the Vancouver Whitecaps 3-1 to lift the MLS Cup, the crowning moment of his journey in the United States. Messi didn't score in the final, but he orchestrated it, providing 2 assists and demonstrating the calm authority of a player who has lived these moments countless times. For Inter Miami, it was redemption after playoff heartbreak the previous year. For Messi, it was yet another milestone. The Florida franchise has since announced that he has renewed his contract until at least 2028. In June 2026, Messi opened his 6th World Cup campaign with a bang, scoring a hat-trick in Argentina's 3-0 win over Algeria. This was his first ever World Cup hat-trick and brought his total World Cup goals to 16, tying him with German legend Miroslav Klose for the all-time record. He also became the oldest player in World Cup history to score a hat-trick, breaking Cristiano Ronaldo's record. He also became the first player to appear in 6 men's World Cups. The hat-trick came exactly 20 years to the day he scored his first World Cup goal on his tournament debut in 2006. Argentina coach Lionel Scaloni was in awe, saying, "I have no words, no words. Anything I say would be unnecessary. He's been doing this for 20 years. I think soccer people want to see him, not just Argentines. Beyond the result, you have to enjoy him because what he transmits to everyone is incredible." Messi has also used his global influence to support social causes. In 2010, he was appointed a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador and has since participated in campaigns focused on children's health, education, and rights around the world. One of the issues he has spoken about is child mortality. In a UNICEF campaign, Messi highlighted that thousands of children under the age of 5 die every day from preventable causes and said that number should be 0. He has won 44 senior-level trophies, 8 Ballon d'Or awards, and holds the all-time assists record with more than 400 to his name. He is married to his childhood sweetheart, Antonella Rocuzzo, and they have 3 children together. The story of Lionel Messi is not just a story about football. It is a story of a boy who faced a medical condition that could have ended his dreams, a boy who left his home at 13 to chase a vision, a boy who became the breadwinner of his family, a boy who faced years of heartbreak and criticism, and a boy who never gave up. It is a story of resilience, sacrifice, and the power of believing in yourself. From the streets of Rosario to the greatest stadiums in the world, Messi has shown that with hard work, determination, and the support of those who love you, you can overcome any obstacle and achieve greatness. He is living proof that dreams do come true, and that the journey to success is often more beautiful than the destination itself.